If you are an estate agent, letting agent, or someone who is interested in the property market, then this, the UK Property Market Stats Show, is for you. My name is Chris Watkin, and each week I present the UK Property Market Stats Show with a special guest, and this week it is Alice Bullard. We'll come to Alice in a second. The purpose of this show is to talk about what's happening in the property market right here, right now. Most other property stats, the land registry is looking at sales from 6, 7, 8 months ago. The Nationwide and Halifax from sales from 2 months ago, 3 months ago. We're looking at what's happening in the property market, transaction levels, exchanges, house prices last week. And by looking at what's happening in the property market last week, we can foretell what all those indices are going to do in 2, 5, 6, 8 months' time. So if you want an unfair advantage on the property market to find out what's happening, then this weekly show is for you. Today, I'm joined by Alice Bullard, who's the boss lady of Nesting, a London-based estate agent, but also has agents around the UK. And she's a really, really smart cookie. And you can see why this is her second time on the show. You can see why we invited her back, because her insight was fantastic. Alice, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me back, Chris.
Bless you, bless you. So we are looking at week 25 of 2024. So we'll just have a look at the calendar. And that is Monday, the 17th of June, all the way through and including Sunday, the 23rd of June. So we've been in the full-on couple of weeks general election fever. So let's have a look at the Stadaroonies, Alice, and see if the general election has made any difference whatsoever to the property market. So we'll just go and find them.
Let's do it.
So as always, ladies and gentlemen, I just spend a minute or so just going through the stats, and then we'll go over to the wonderful Alice. She'll give us insight. This week, we have listed 36,647 properties. And you can see on the graph now that that's very, very similar to most other week 25s of the same week 25s throughout since 2017. The average price of a property that's come onto the market is 439,996. Month to date, we're on 888,676 listings, which, just as a guide, is 8.4% further on than 2023, 7.6 further on than 17, 18, and 19. And then we'll just have a look at the weekly stuff. And this is plotting every single week. And the white line is 2024. And then obviously we've got the other years there. Okay, over to you, Alice. What are your thoughts?
So, I mean, look, it's generally tracking down slightly in terms of number of listings coming to the market, but we are heading into the summer months, so we always see that, right? We always expect that that's going to come. Obviously, this summer we've got the general election. We're hopefully, all fingers crossed, we're going to be seeing a little bit of a bounce when the Bank of England come out and do an announcement in August. So I think we're in for a really strong start to kind of Q3. What's really interesting here, though, I don't know if we're going to come onto it later, so maybe worth talking about it then. But the average listing price, I think, has dropped about 4.5% this week. And my optimistic head is that everyone's been watching your show, Chris, and has been listening to all of the advice that every single guest every single week has been giving. Yeah, this is the graph. This is really encouraging. I'm really hopeful. I'm waiting for next week with bated breath that this is going to continue, and that agents and sellers understand the importance at the moment of listing realistically. Yes, there's buyer demand out there, but we all know from all the data that we've been seeing that you have to be pricing realistically in this market. And I think this is encouraging. This is down to what, 17% or so, the gap.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you an idea, the running average for the last few months, I'll just put it up here. It's been hovering around 22%. It's not been pretty, 21, 22, 23. That's the percentage difference, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're looking on the graph now, the red line is the average asking price of a property that comes on the market. And the yellow line is the average asking price of a property when it goes sale agreed. We obviously don't know what the sale agreed at. However, and we've mentioned this before in the show, research by Hamptons shows that there is a very close relationship between what the house originally set up, the asking price when it goes sale agreed versus what it actually sells for is very, very close. We all know that as agents. There's proof on that. Do go and find that information. Apart from the bad year, well, it depends if you say they're good or bad years, but the 2021 years, it was 2% over. On average, it's always 1 to 2% below the original asking price and has been for over 20 years. That doesn't mean here, ladies and gentlemen, that the average price of a property being reduced, you comes on at 440 and you get it for 360. As we said again, as we said on the show many times, is that the lower price properties have a higher chance or a higher propensity to sell, which means that the average of the property selling will obviously be dragged down because the averages are dragged down. And as Alice rightly says, it's the gap, and the long-term average here is 16 or 17%. And this is the first time since the back end of last year that we have seen that sort of level. This graph does come up every single week, and for any newbies on the show here, there's one thing here that does scream at you, and that's this big uplift in summer. And ladies and gentlemen, that is everyone, because you based in London, Alice?
I'm in Kent, Sevenoaks way.
Oh, right. So again, so you're just on the edges, but all the posh people in London come back from Provence and they're posh places. And they literally, if you go to Fulham and Chelsea and Islington around, everyone, the uplift in listings in that part of the world is just crazy. So nothing at all in August, everyone goes away on holiday, and then in early September, everything comes on. And that all that is probably the posh part of London, zone 1 and a bit of zone 2, putting a load of properties on the market. That is the effect of the London market on averages. It is almost a world on its own. So we'll just whilst we're here, we'll just have a quick look at the stats. The thing that this is week 25 in pure isolation. But what I would say is that these numbers week to week hardly ever change. It is well, you can see here they hardly apart from that London lump. But look how the turquoise line, which is the average asking price of a property when it went sale agreed, has leveled off and slightly drifting downwards. So that's showing that the lower price properties are selling more, whilst there is again a slight drifting downwards of the lighter green color, but the gap is, it's still a bit too much. Please, let's keep an eye on it. Let's just see. We do that. Right, let's get back. Anything else on the list of Roonies?
No, I don't think so. Sorry, we skipped ahead, but I think it was. I think it's a really interesting one this week.
Sorry about that. That's why we're free format. You're absolutely right, and again, very insightful. You've obviously been looking at some old shows. So you can see here online that we are, we're almost very, very similar to the blue line, which is 2018. If we skip forward to week 31, the average, let me just pull that up. The average is 31,000. So we're going to be around here. And then if we move forward to week 36, which will be 2 months' time, the average on all years comes in at 33. So what you'll tend to find, and we'll see this in the sales figures, but there's a very close link, is that there is now going to be a steady drifting off, between now and late autumn. We'll have the bumps of August bank holiday, but there will be now a slow and steady drift off. And I find this amazing here that, look, these two dips here are the 2 bank holidays. And then all the other dips here is just when Easter kicked in. Although, do remember last year we had the coronation. So we had 4 dips last year. Although I think it was tied up with but anyway, yes, I'm correcting. There were 3 dips. They tied in one of the bank holidays with the coronation.
Coronation,
yeah, can't get that.
No, right. I'm really interested. I'm really interested to see what is going to actually happen mid-August, especially with buyer demand. Obviously, if all of the hopes and dreams of everyone out there is, you know, the rumours to be correct, and we do get a positive announcement in August, and some of the, you know, the mortgage lenders pull out some really good products towards sort of mid-August, end of August. I think it will be really interesting to see what happens with buyer demand. So watch the space.
But if you think about it, and again, let's skip ahead. We'll come back to price reductions. You know, that is the number of gross sales compared to 17, 18, 19, and 23. So, you know, if you were to say at the start of this year, we are selling more houses per week than 2017, 18, 19, and 20. Obviously, 23 was a, remember, in 23, the interest rates were just beginning to kick in, weren't they, if you recall? And
Yeah.
we had a bit of a rough, going into July, well, you'll see this in a second, ladies and gentlemen, it started to get a bit rough.
It was a bit tough.
But look, you know, you look at that's not bad. But anyway, we'll come back to that in a second. Price changes, average asking price of a property being reduced 393 and 20,944 reductions based on the fact that there is just in excess of, and again, you know, I like this free format style. Okay, then, considering there are 694,000 properties, okay, on the market, that means, and we'll just do this just a second. Hold on a second. We're just pulling up the supercomputer. Here we go. That means that we are reducing 1 in 7.88 properties. That doesn't sound a lot to me.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. I think the key thing right now for anyone listening that's got some stock on the market, you need to be having those price conversations with your clients now, because otherwise come September, when you're bringing all the new properties onto the market, which we will see that bounce most likely, they're just going to be left behind. And look, I think you spoke about it a few weeks ago on one of your shows about, yes, it's okay to, you know, bring on a property at maybe a slightly inflated price, and reduce it very quickly if that's what the client wants. But I think that actually coming into the market we're in now, if anyone's launching, I don't think that that's the right advice. You don't have time to be testing the market. You want to be getting it on and getting it sold now. So I think that's really got to be the messaging for people, is that, and maybe that those one in 7, hopefully over the next couple of weeks, given some of the indications we're seeing, some of your data, that might start to come down, and actually people are being more open and, you know, realistic in what they need to be pricing their property at. See, average list price this week has gone down, which is really encouraging. But let's see what happens over the next few weeks. But really, fingers crossed that 1 in 7 starts dropping, and we start seeing more properties being reduced and getting sold.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, here's just whilst Alice was saying that, I just whipped up some stats. Since the 1st of April, 320,726 properties have left UK estate agents' books. Okay, 320,000. And a property can only leave an estate agent's book if she exchanges or she withdraws. And the scary thing is this: only 53.74% of them, or 172,344. So let's round it up. 172,000 of 320,000 properties estate agents have only been paid on. They have not been paid on 148,000. They've been withdrawn and sold. Well, if there's something that doesn't scream at me, get it on at the right price, it's that.
Yeah, those completion rates are shocking. We really want to be seeing those being a lot higher, for sure.
I mean, not everything that comes on the market is going to sell, but
of course,
one in 2, you know, it's like red or black.
Yeah, it's a roll of a dice. No, it's not a roll of dice. It's a toss of a coin.
Chris. Toss of a coin. And I genuinely believe, and I've said this before many times, that I believe an awful lot of estate agents are turned on by the listing, and they don't care whether they sell the house or not.
It's because they're targeted weekly on how many listings you've got, how many listings you've got. You know, boards brief boards, listings. I think that's like it's a
you can't sell if you haven't got it. I mean, it's like estate agency bingo, isn't it? You're right.
I love that. I've not heard of that one before.
You've not had that one? You can write it down.
Literally, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just writing it down. I'm going to repeat that this week.
You ain't got it, you can't sell it. Yeah. No, right, let's go and look at some sales. Okay, so this week, our number of sales, we'll just pull this up. Here we go. 26,472. This is gross sales. When you compare, if you were to say that the number of sales is very similar to what was happening in 22 and a hell of a lot further on than 17, 18, and 19, you'd be saying, I want a slice of that cake. I want a slice of that pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The budget that I did at the beginning of the year, I've definitely under-egged our performance for sure. And a lot of it, yes, we're doing well, but a lot of it is, market-led and how it's kind of crept up on us. And going into this year, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it's turning out to be. So fingers crossed it continues.
Indeed. So gross sales year to date is 615,000, which is 10.1% further on than the 2023 figure of 558,600, and 7% further on than the average of 17, 18, and 19, which again, we've seen this graph, but the white line just basically shows that the market is doing really well. And notice that drift off, and the listings drift off is very similar. I don't know what happened in 2017 with that big up and down spike. I bet you a pound to the penny the computer had a bad day this week and then found them there. I reckon that's an anomaly, but I'll do.
We have like a lot of Brexit turmoil around there.
Possibly in 17, possibly.
Yeah.
Did we have a?
I feel like there's got to be something that we're missing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I might do some investigating in that one, and I bet you a pound to a penny that's what it is, because it is an anomaly. And I bet the dip matches the other one. Anyway, beside the point, but we're not here.
Sorry, tangent.
Yeah, as you say, not bad. Anything else to add on sales before we move on and look at fall throughs?
Nope, summed it up perfectly, Chris.
Okay, fall throughs are rising. There is no doubt about that. From an average in this spring of around the 4,000 or 5,000 mark, and now we are regularly doing around the 6,000 mark. So again, this is a message to all the doomongers out there. Please take this graph and go woo, and this is your proof. But before you do, ladies and gentlemen, this is the real graph that we really need to be looking at. And the simple fact is if there's more gross sales, there are by very nature going to be more fall throughs. So this is a better indication of the market, along with the pipeline, which we're going to have a look at in a second. Is the percentage. And again, for those of you who have not watched the shows, the two spikes are the Christmas spikes. They always happen because the numbers are so low that the percentages are all over the place. But here, this is so going into the summer of 22, she was hovering around the mid-20s, and then we had this thing called a budget. I'm sure you've heard of it. So the support rate was 40%. Again, for anyone that's not watched the show before, this is the number of fall throughs in the week from your sales pipeline expressed as a percentage of the gross sales. So therefore, if you sold 10 houses this week and you had 2 fall throughs from your pipeline, 2 as a percentage of 10 is 20%. There's the 20% fall through rate. And as I said, you can see here that, as I said, this is the quarter budget.
Yeah, we all remember that week, don't we? I think everyone can relate, like crying, their pipeline just crumbling around them. Yeah, that tough week.
Well, and again, I think this is just important, is we can remember that time. We can remember the week we went into COVID and the bosses were wondering what the hell was going to happen.
Yeah.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, some of us are not as sprightly as Alice. Some of us have got a bit of grey hair. We can remember the 92, the 92.com, where interest rates, we had Black Monday and interest rates went to 15%. We had the housing crash of 88. And again, I wasn't in the game, but I went into agency in the late 80s. I know I came as a child. No, it's funny, you're blushing. No, but to be,
I was
you know,
about
if
to
you
say
go
I'm a 90s child, so I definitely don't
back,
remember the 80s.
but again, if you go, ladies and gentlemen, if you go back, there are always things like there was the 3-day week where we owned in the 70s where we owned the country only worked for 3 days a week. Because and there was, on the other days there was no electricity. They switched the electricity off. There was where oil prices quadrupled in a year with the oil crisis in 73. And
Madness.
and it's funny what Alice says, but it's important that and it is that we have gone through all of those challenges, come out the other side.
Yeah.
If you're an estate agency boss, again, very easy to say, just take a step back and say we battled through all that shit and we can battle through
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I was working in Islington the day of the referendum vote, and I just remember just walking into the office, just knowing those conversations, and all of my pipeline, especially around Islington, is like so sensitive to this stuff. And you do remember those times, you know. I remember that day so vividly, and the conversations I had to have with my clients to like keep them on the market, and it makes you stronger as an agent. And yeah, look, whatever comes our way in the future, we've been through it. Obviously, I've not been through as much as you, Chris, only slightly less, but you have to remember those moments and
Yeah,
take
but
a step
again,
back.
that's the nature of just getting old. You have to go through more shit, and
Yeah,
you'll have to go through the same as well. But we all have to. You just have to deal with it. The simple
yeah,
fact is this: is that people will always want to move. Okay, that is always the case. And as Alice says, she says her stats are slightly higher because of the the market, the tide rises. If the tide goes down, you've just got to have a bigger slice of the pie.
yeah. You've got to make hay while the sun is shining. That's for sure.
Indeed, but at the same time, don't panic when things do go belly up. And again, I'm a massive, me, my daytime job is I help letting and estate agents attract landlords to their agencies by creating a personal brand, and I know we all say, well, I don't want a person. Well, sorry guys, everyone has a personal brand. It's called a
Yeah,
reputation. And
yeah,
you will have a good one. So why don't you bring that great stuff out? It's one of the reasons why Alice and myself do shows like this. We do this because it's helpful to the viewers, and also the night shines on us as well, makes us look good, and it creates
yeah.
a great reputation.
Completely. And with personal brand, obviously we're going off on a bit of a tangent. It's you're in control of your own personal brand. You're not necessarily always in control of what other people think of you and your reputation as a whole, but actually your personal branding section, you are in charge of that. Like you can determine how you want to come across in your local community and in your local area. You can't tell people they have to have a certain opinion about you, but you can have control on how you portray yourself. And that's why it's so important when it comes to reputation. But that's for a different podcast, I think.
Well, I'll just give one, because a lot of agents watch this, is if you just say, well, is it all bullshit and just going on camera? No, you can do audio and you can do written. But what I would say is this: if a lot of people say, Chris, what do I need to do? What is personal brand in one sentence? And the magic thing is this: create content that is helpful. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're a supermodel and you're razzing around the country, but we're not supermodels, we're estate agents, and everyone is obsessed about the property market and their locality. So therefore, be helpful in your community and talk about the local property market, talk about what's happening in your town, and you'll be really helpful and useful. You'll be educational, you'll be entertaining, and all of the above. And by doing that, you by very nature will grow your personal brand. But anyway, let's get back to net sales, because this is not the personal show. Those are the numbers. As I said, 22.87. Again, a number that a lot of people think, it's 1 in 3 fall throughs. No, it's 1 in 4 and always has been. And again, those there. So let's go to net sales. So again, net sales, gross sales, less fall throughs equals net sales, which is, if you think about it, what you're going to get paid on, ladies and gentlemen. We are 4.8% further on than the 17-18 average, and we are 11.6% further on than 2023. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we will be exchanging contracts on 11.8%, 11.6% more homes. We finished the year on just over I think it was 1,042,000 or something like that. That's the numbers aren't officially in, but that's where everyone's saying they're going to end. So therefore, I'm saying it here and now, ladies and gentlemen, because again, we are only looking here at the second-hand exchanges. We have to add on the the new homes. I'm saying here now, we will be finishing on, including new homes, 100, sorry, start again, 1,150,000. There you go. I'm pulling my marker down. That's where we'll finish.
Putting you on the spot, Chris, what's that in terms of percentage difference from 2023? Do we know?
Well, I mean, at the moment, we have been constantly running at around 11%, and we have been for months. So all I've done is just taken the 23 figure and added 11%. Well, you might as well. I mean,
yeah, exactly. We'll come back to this at the end of the year and see how accurate to the decimal that you were, to the number, the actual.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, these figures here are looking purely at second hand. So so when we get to the end of the year, when we get to the end, the figures that won't be 1.1 because it won't include new homes. This is the Office of National Stats figures, which will probably come out in about April 25. Okay, 1.15. There you go. Anyway, less about me. Here we go. Net sales, and again, we like the white line is 24. The pink, I mean, look at again. Let's just reflect on this. This was the interest rates kicking in.
Yeah.
Okay? The pink line was following the orange line is 17 to 19, which is what we class as a normal years, if there is normal, and it was tracking quite nicely. Okay, in fact, we'll look at so again, orange is 17 to 19. And those of you listening on the podcast, there's a link that you can download these graphs and you could be looking at these yourself. And the pink line, as I said, is 23, and then it just fell off. Fell off, didn't it? Technical term.
It was a tough quarter.
And look how close we are to 22, which was not a bad old year, actually. Was it? 22?
No.
I know. Look, and again, look, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Kwarteng budget because we had all them fall throughs. So, I think if we can be finished, coming in about here, I think would be happy days.
Yeah, and I would expect it to be up there, and even potentially a little bit higher, depending on the reaction to August and September, August announcement, and what mortgage lenders do. I really, really hope we see some
we could have
good products.
Dharma surge.
That's it. That's the comment I saw on one of your videos. Yeah, the Starmer surge. I really do think we're in for potentially. I'm always quite an optimistic person anyway, but I think we could be in for a really good end to Q3 and beginning of Q4. So time will tell.
You are an optimistic person, aren't you? Almost like scary, like, oh, is the glass half? No, it's overflowing with everything. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I am definitely more on the optimistic scale than I am on the pessimistic, for sure, but also realistic at the same time.
Yeah, well,
I feel quite encouraged.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're bored, go and look at the difference between optimism and positivity. And optimism is positivity with a bit of realism thrown in. Shit will happen, but we'll get through it and we'll deal with it. And again, it comes back to what we talked before. Okay, so the net sales 20,417. Again, if you were to say that we were literally only 8 or 9% off the glory years of 20 and 21, you'd be saying, "Whoa, I'll have some of that."
Yeah.
Again, a couple of extra little graphy roonies here for those of you geeks out there. They don't do anything for me, but I know the ex-Countrywide area managers love this. I don't know if this flicks your switch. No. There you go. I'm sure Brian Mansell loves this, and we keep it in for Brian. Okay, let's go look at house prices. So a metric which I'm banging on about constantly is pounds per square foot. Okay, pounds per square foot on a local basis is a bit rough and ready when it comes to average house prices, but on a regional basis, it's not bad. Yet on a national basis, it is truly amazing. And if you track the pound per square foot at sale agreed, it matches the land registry data in terms of movement 5 or 6 months later to an accuracy rate in the mid to late 90s. What that means is if you track the sale agreed pound per square foot, which is the orange line, that is what the land registry will be in 5 or 6 months' time. The red line here, as I said, is the pound per square foot at new listings. And again, look at that. They've been listening to you, Alice. Again, there's a bit of a gap there. That it's the gap that scares me. The orange line, as I said, is pound per square foot at sale agreed and exchange. And if you can just imagine, and again, for those of you who've not watched the show before, if you can just move that orange line to the left slightly, it matches that greeny line very good. And the green line is what the land registry will be in a month's time or 2 months' time when they follow through. So bottom line is follow sale agreed. So again, I'll just pull up some stats on this one. This week, month to date, we are on £350 per square foot, which is 3.2% higher than it was in March and just over 6% higher than it was in December. Although December's numbers do go a bit dry in December because there's not many sales. But I'm and again, I keep an eye on this on a weekly basis. She's at 350 and she's been at 350 now. So really, really good. Anything you want to say on that one?
No, I think you said on one of your shows the other day that since January it's 5% higher, which again, coming into this year, we would have taken, right? We'd been like, absolutely. So I think, that's the only thing I'd add.
Interestingly, though, if you go and look at the nationwide stats in real terms, we're not talking about headline numbers, but in real terms, house prices are about 10% cheaper than they were 2 years ago. After
10% cheaper.
After inflation, they're still around 10% cheaper. Which is scary, absolutely scary. What I will do, ladies and gentlemen, is in the notes of this, I will go to the nationwide, get the new the data, and I will put the number in the write-up. Let me write that one down before I forget. Hold on a second, nationwide. And I could be a bit off on that one, but I'm not going to be a million miles off. In real terms, after inflation, not talking headline price, inflation, they're about 10%. Might look at Pratt, might be a bit more, a bit less, but I think it's ballpark. And I looked at it a few months ago. Right. Sales pipelines, considering that, look at that. That is the highest sales pipeline there has ever been. You're all going to say, whoa, it's solicitors. It's like constipation, sales agreed, taking 19 weeks. I'm telling you here and now, ladies and gentlemen, they were taking 19 weeks back in the late teens. You've all got bad memories. They've been taking 17, 18, 19 weeks for the last few years.
Okay. Yeah, I heard someone say that a stat the other day. It takes about 12 weeks for a property to exchange. I was like,
it used to.
Have you been living under the rock? Like, where have you been?
Yeah, but when you were a twinkle in your dad's eye, Alice. Okay, so back in the late 80s when I became an estate agent, 6 to 9 weeks. Madness. You know the first stage of madness is when Suggs comes on stage. No, there you go. Very much. Sorry, do apologize. Yeah, you wouldn't think that, would you? I mean, okay, some of that is going to be sales pipeline constipation, but not all of it. Okay. Interestingly, I don't know. I know with your agency, do you have a dedicated sales progression unit?
Most of our agents do. Obviously, they're all self-employed, so it's up to them. But they don't. The good thing is they're because they're getting paid a lot of money on each deal. They don't have to be taking on lots and lots of properties. But I think if you're in a branch or you're a branch manager or an owner of an estate agency where volume is key, then having a sales progressor is a must. There's absolutely no way. There's no way that you can dedicate the time that you need to get that property to exchange of contracts if you're having to do 8-9 listings a week. You know, so I think it's I think a sales progressor is a must if you're doing high volumes for sure. That's my personal opinion anyway.
It's interestingly that there's a couple of large outsourced sales progressors, and their average sale time for their sales and is around 11 or 12 weeks.
Yeah,
And
it's
and the thing is, they've you know, and that doesn't mean you have to outsource, but I think dedicated sales progression. I do know that obviously if you're a self-employed agent, and ladies and gentlemen, do check out Nested, because I'm a huge fan of the self-employed model, absolutely massive, and the choice of which self-employed model isn't really the money, it's who's going to be your coach, guide, mentor, accountability partner, and that really comes down to you know to the broker. And you know, Alice is up there with the likes of your Ben Moores and your Steph Walkers. So do check them out. You go. You didn't know you were going to get a little plug there, do you?
I didn't. Thank you. That was nice. Nice little start to my morning.
I don't say those things lightly, because there's a lot of crap out there, ladies and gentlemen, in self-employed estate agents. And again, I do genuinely believe that the self-employed model, you know, let's just think about this.
Yeah.
There are 14,500 estate agency firms in the UK, and there are 1,000 self-employed agents. So
Yeah.
it's slowly coming up.
It is. It's creeping up, and I think next few years, I think we're going to see a big boom.
My biggest fear is estate agency bosses who are putting their heads in the sand. They've got glory boy valuer or glory boy girl valuer who's bloody good. And if you know, I think a lot of people, bosses, now need to start thinking, what if they left and became my competitor? And I think a lot of people consider potentially having a self-employed hybrid model. I know that's not, you know, but other models are available. Do seriously consider.
I really do. I think they need to wake up a little bit, I think, and realise. I heard a couple of estate agents the other day, obviously no naming names, where they're not able to do any of their personal branding, and I said to them, I think it's because they fear that you're then, you know, you build up your own personal brand. It's not necessarily going to be about the high street brand anymore. It's more going to be about the individual, where we're moving into, and the territory we're moving into. And I think that a lot of agency bosses are worried about that, and so they should be. I think with the tide is changing for sure.
I mean, what I would do if I was under those circumstances is, as an agent, is join the local Facebook groups as you.
Yeah.
And go and interview local shopkeepers. Okay, why do you love? We'll get to Hatfield in a second. You know, you go to the coffee shop in Hatfield, says, "Hi, it's Chris here." You don't mention the name of the agency. "Hi, it's Chris here. I love Hatfield so much. I'm doing interviewing the great and good of Hatfield shopkeepers, so you can see why you should move to Hatfield." And you go inside and you do the questions about, you know, what do you love about Hatfield? What do you love about Hatfield people? What do people in Hatfield like more or less of? And then you turn back to camera. You just use a mobile phone. You can use a little 2 clip-on microphones that you get from Amazon. I don't know, it's a new website. Amazon. Like that. Okay, little tripod. And then just turn around. You don't mention your agency. You do it in your own time, and you're building your personal brand. And I'm sorry, but no boss can say no to that, because you're doing.
So, some of them are, Chris, which I think is madness. You know, you shouldn't be with shouldn't be trusting someone with your career if they're gonna, push you down on that. That's my advice.
If they're going to stop you in your own time, not mentioning even property, but just the local community, you've got to question whether you're at the right place or not. Because I'm telling you here and now, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the UK, not in bloody North Korea.
Yeah.
Right. Right then, okay.
Tangent again, but I'm loving the rant.
There you go. As I said, this show is right. Okay. Right. Anything else before we go to Hatfield?
I don't think so. I mean, like the market is good. Like this is what we want. I would say we've got the right balance at the moment. For the Wimbledon fans that are out there, this is the property sweet spot, right? So I think it's all really positive. There's a nice balance, I think, at the moment, and it feels good. So the optimistic person in here saying that things are okay. Things are great.
Right then, let us now go to Hatfield. Okay, Alice, here we are. We're back again, and we're using a piece of kit called Insight from the firm 20EA. This is Rightmove Plus on steroids with a couple of rockets strapped to it with lasers and glitter balls. This is gold standard data. It is absolutely amazing. This bit of kit is going to be analysing the Hatfield property market. And again, if anyone is not in Hatfield but wants some independent data to prove that you are a better estate agent than anyone else, then this bit of kit is for you. There is a free version of it that you can sign up, which gives you limited amount of data. And then you can go for like 10 postcodes, a region, and then nationally. Okay. I know what the costs are, but I'm not going to say them because I'm not on commission. I'm just a massive hashtag fanboy of this. And I just think if you're looking for a reason, if you're being clobbered by overvaluing or cheap fees, and you are genuinely a better estate agent, then this bit of kit can prove it for you. So we're going to spend 15 or 20 minutes looking at Hatfield. We're going to be analysing it and going really deep dive on the stats. Most of the stats will be on residential sales, but there will be some on lettings as well. Okay, so here we go. And just for the purposes of this, the postcode that we are looking at is, if I'm just putting it up now, why does it always take forever? Do you know? There you go.
So much data.
AL10. So I know for a fact, ladies and gentlemen, that there's a little bit underneath Hatfield, which goes on to Brooklands Park. And that little town, I can't remember the name of it. I was doing my homework last night. But there doesn't seem to be that much in that park where Hatfield agents go. So I've just kept it to this postcode and this postcode alone. In Hatfield, since the start of 2019, there have been 3,144 new properties that have come onto the market with an average asking price of £370,900, when a pound per square foot at 428. If we look at this graph here, we can see how the new listings have gone, and you can see, and again, different towns show different things. So we always like to do whole months because we're halfway through, and so let's go and look at May's figures. So in May 2019, 54 properties came on the market, 20 in May 20, and you can see it's been slowly rising up to the point now where in last month 74 properties came onto the market. What we're going to do is we're going to look at each agent and see which agent and their market share growth. So we're starting off with Rain & Co, okay? And the first thing you will see there, and again, Alice, as always, just cut across me when you see something that you want to say. So average is 370, Rain & Co, interestingly, 351, and their market share seems to have been drifting from around the early 20s to around the 10 mark. Okay, well, I'm not sure about that. Okay, let's go and look at Rights. So again, they seemed also from around the 17-18% mark, hovering around the 6% mark. So I wonder, and again, an average of 350. So the two biggest agents, their market share in the postcode seems to be drifting. Let's go and look at what Kings are doing. So they also seem to be drifting in a downward direction. The Marshall.
Who's going up?
Yeah, who is going up?
Ah.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No. Ashton's. Ah, there you go. Ashton's. There you go. So interestingly, so I wonder when I bet you a pound to a penny, that's when they opened up a new office. So I think what we'll do there is in a second, we'll change the dates and see. It looks like Ashton seemed to be now. Here's Pikes. Now I think if memory serves you well, Pikes changed their name, but they haven't changed the name on this. I think it's a double-barreled name. But we'll come to that in a second. Connells, Hart, Purple Bricks. William H. Brown, nice and steady. Right, let's go and just change the dates there. So let's just change the dates.
So your bet is that Ashtons have opened up a second office, did you say?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the stats, but you got to admit, there you go. Look, there's Ashton.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Oh, because you changed the dates. Yeah.
Change the dates. So I wonder if smaller agents are taking a bit more of the pie.
A bit more, yeah.
It is interesting. That's quite strange, actually. Interesting. Okay. Let's just have a quick look and see if there's an upper quartile market in the town. There we go. Hold on. Okay, so 370. So we'll probably, let's see if there's a million market. We've got to 750.
You can get some nice houses over that part of the world, I'm sure.
So it looks like Rain & Co and Ashton's. Again, it doesn't look like there is a posh agent. Now, again, if we went down to Brooklands Park, which is really posh, which is the next postcode along,
right?
You've got a lot of posh agents that cover that. It's like I bet you a pound to a penny. It's the posh part of Hatfield. If you ever do have the chance, there's a lovely place called Hatfield House, which is a beautiful Elizabethan manor. It's absolutely lovely. Although interestingly, I just want to say a big well done to every estate agent, because every estate agent in Hatfield has a picture of Hatfield House on it. It's like the Hatfield House tourist department. Oh, okay.
The locals must get so sick of it.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Right. Okay. Let's just go and look at stock on market. So this is the stock market. This is what's on the market. We'll just wait for this to come through. Okay. So you can see here that this is so that again, we'll go whole month, but here's a great line if you're an estate agent in Hatfield. In May 2022, there were 146 properties for sale, and 308, which means that you could say, when they say, well, my house is not selling that much. Yeah, because there's twice as many houses for sale. That's quite a jump. Normally, and again, I know we looked at that in the previous part of the show where we looked at the number of properties that are for sale. That is 100% uplift, which is a lot more than the national average. The national average is around 70% more. So I wonder why there's more houses than nationally. So that's interesting. We'll just have a look and see what there's going to be a close correlation between listings and stock levels, but you can see your stock levels here. Country Properties, they're a franchise. Ashton's, they're doing well.
Yeah, they're doing well.
Okay.
They look too good on the other metric too.
That's good. If it's the same Ashtons, I think it is. They're like a small little chain,
okay,
and run by someone who's pretty switched on. Really good chat.
Nice.
Yeah, it is the hidden. I know it's them, because there's two big Ashtons in the UK, and one's up north, and one, so it'll be Ashtons in Hertfordshire. Right. Okay.
It shows you though, like that individual, and again, importance of personal branding, and he's obviously putting himself out in the community.
No, he's not.
No,
he's not. No, he's not. He's just a damn good estate agent that runs a number of branches. I think they've got 8 branches. Okay. Yeah. No, you'll never see this person. Very private, keeps himself to himself, but a damn good old
right. Nice.
Right then. Okay, so there's a lot of data here, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just going to move this to hold on, there we go. June the 26th. Right, here we go. So Alice, you know what's coming here. I want you to look at the forward price changes whilst I just do my bit on this. Okay, so what has left estate agents? So you agents are going to be looking at your new instructions and new instruction market share and sales percentages, and good for you. But this is where the true magic happens. Exchanged and withdrawn. Okay. A property will leave an estate agent's book if she exchanges, which means you get paid on it, or she withdraws, you don't get paid on it, and you've lost money. And it's the relationship between the two which is really, really important. So in the last year, Rains have exchanged on 54 and had 32 withdrawn. Ashtons have had 29 exchange and 37 withdrawn. which means that Rain & Co. at the moment have an exchange ratio of 62 or 63% compared to the others with the numbers that you can see here. The average is 43.6%. So therefore, if you're above 43.6%, you're doing better than the average. So that's a massive well done to Rain & Co.
Yeah, and Kings. Kings is very high.
Very good. Now, I know Lane's there, but again, I'm not too worried about that because the posh houses do have a much lower rate. But again, probably just shows, and we can have a quick look at the price. You know, let me just show that to you, ladies and gentlemen, that the lower price properties have a lower propensity. There we go. For 34. There you go. Over $1 million, it's 16%.
Yeah,
So
it does show you that, like, looking at these stats and looking at what's selling in your market, if you're going, you know, after a certain market share, really understanding what is moving, because I think sometimes we can all be sucked into the nice big houses, the big fees, but actually the reality is that if it's a really slow market, you're better off touting the stock that you know is like the bread and butter of that area, and at what level is that sweet spot. So I think, yeah, you know, you can always be enticed into going after the big houses to the big fees, but actually this shows you that in this area especially, you shouldn't be doing that.
Okay, anything on the fall throughs and price changes which grab you? I mean, Rain look like they're changing their prices an awful lot, so we'll see how close they get to the original asking price in the next slot. Ashton's look like they're pricing the properties quite well, although their withdrawal rate is quite high.
Yeah, yeah.
Connell's their price changes. Connell's, you know, there you go. Nearly 7 out of 10 properties that Connell's put on the market, they've reduced the price.
That's madness. But look, I mean, at least they're getting the reductions. But as we said at the beginning of this show, we're in that market now. We're heading into that market where, you know, I don't think you've got time to be putting it on and testing.
Okay, they get the price reduction. Yeah, look, they get the price reductions, but they still withdraw because they still only have an exchange rate of 37.5%.
Yeah.
So they're, you know, I'm sorry, Connell.
Am I right in saying there's a slight lag? I might be completely wrong on this. Am I right in saying there's a slight lag between percentage of price change and then exchanged on this? So if they had a big surge,
there's going to be, but I tell you what, let's just, for what's name and giggles, let's move that one out there. Now there's no lag. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Still, Rain & Co. Good at 46. Ashton's, again, your exchange ratio could be better. Right.
But yeah, Connell's
75, but Connell's at 35.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I tried.
Don't know. No. That's it. No, we don't know. We haven't looked at these screens. So now we're going to see how well they price the properties. Okay. So Rain & Co. So here we go. This particular chart shows you what each agent would get. So let me explain this. Okay. So 20EA have done an AVM, like a Valpal figure, other AVMs are available, on all of these listings. Okay, so they've done AVMs on those 87 Rain & Co.'s, and they've done AVMs on all those 72 Ashtons. What they've then done is that they've then looked at what have you actually put the house on the market for versus what we think it's worth. And you can see here, Rain & Co. have overvalued by 1.9%, Ashton's undervalued by 2.06%, Connell's at 3.51 over, Wright's at 3.16 over, Mather Marshall 0.71. So you can see here there's quite a gap there. Okay. Why are we got some undervaluing? Ashton's might have put some new homes on, and that they do tend to screw the figures up, but we don't know that. So we don't know that. And then what we then do is see what did you get from your original asking price. Okay. So therefore, Rain & Co. got 1.59% off their original asking price, whilst Ashton's got bang on the asking price on average. Country Properties got 1.54% over the original asking price. So what are Country Properties doing? Now, these are low numbers. They are low numbers, so there can be some weird properties in there that's going to screw the numbers up. But if I was Country Properties, I would be saying for an average 400 grand house in this is what this is telling me, for an average 400 grand house in Hatfield, Mrs. Miggins, we will get you an average of 416, whilst the competitors will get an average of 397, and then all the other different agents here.
Yeah.
This is powerful.
It is powerful. If you're them, these are some good stats.
Isn't it interesting that some people say, well, well, I don't like that stat, but I tell you here and now, if I was Country Properties, I'd be lapping that up to the cows come home.
Yeah. So why are we getting questions? I'm learning loads with this too. Why are we getting a blank for Connells on price achieved percentage from?
That should be a percentage. So it will right. So there must be something in the system, but that number there will be 4.41 less 3.51. That will be what that number is.
Right.
Okay. That'll be what it is. Okay. Because if you marry the two up, that's the net figure.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
All right. No, I'm wrong.
Are you wrong? Sorry, I put you on the spot here, Chris.
I've never seen it without numbers. So
yeah.
we'll have to have a look on that one. But there's
a bug in the system for 20 maybe.
Okay. The magic thing is this though. The net effect of those two figures is is the difference between that and that. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the magic number. Okay. We'll have a word between that doesn't normally happen. We normally have the percentages galore down there. I'll have a word with them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on and see which agent sells the houses the quickest. Lanes, obviously, but again, there's no pink line here to see how long they take to actually get the sale agreed. So Mather Marshall take on average 81 days to find a buyer and 183 days to get through to sell from sale agreed to completion. The average in the town is 138 days, and it takes on average 76 days to get a sale agreed in the last 12 months. So it looks like if you want a quick sale, Country Properties will get you from new instruction to completion in 164 days.
Yeah.
Whilst Rain & Co will get you in 237 days.
I guess that's linked to the listing price and the price reductions and how long. Yeah, and the valuing, I guess. I think they're very closely linked, aren't they, from the stats we've just seen?
Indeed. So if you are an estate agent that gets sales through quicker, you could use this data to show how quick you go. So again, let's just get 76 days it takes in the last 12 months. Let's go to 12 months before that, 45 days. And it took on average 122 days to get the property through sales progression. Now it's 138 days, which actually is counter to the UK. The UK sale agreed to completion timescale has gone down a week in the last year. So I don't know why sales are taking longer, and they are taking 16 days longer. So that's over 2 weeks more in Hatfield, whilst the UK is down a week. Interesting. Right, let's move on and just finally go and look at the lettings. Okay. Hatfield is a university town, so therefore all those beautiful spikes, I suspect, are going to be the university when they all come on. So let's just have a look. There we go. Yep. Okay. So it's obvious that, well, those, ladies and gentlemen, those spikes are the student lets. And if you don't know student lets, basically there is a time of the month, a time of the year where the agent puts all their properties on, and all of a sudden they get like mega market share. So we're just looking at the general trends. So let's look at Rain & Co. So this is going to be both professional and students. Okay. And we're just looking at the general trend of that line. And I can see that that's growing. So that's good. Yeah, I can see it's not growing a huge amount, but it is growing, which is good. Let's look at strats. That again, there's a student lets and they seem to be doing okay. Let's go look at open rent. Again, ladies and gentlemen, open rent in the UK, go back to 2019, 4 or 5%. Today, 23%. If you actually look at the stats, I don't know if I know you're more resi sales. Do you do any lettings, by the way?
We do lettings, yeah, but we're sales first.
You're sales first. Ladies and gentlemen, the number of landlords setting up is up 43%. The number of landlords buying is down 20%. So you would think by that definition that there are fewer rental properties. No, the actual stats show you that the number of rental property, the net number of properties remaining in the rental market is actually growing. Okay, it's growing at a slower rate, but it is still growing. The vast majority, the biggest challenge to letting agents at the moment is not the removal of Section 21. It's open rent. We have not evolved as letting agents in 20 years. Collect the rent, ring up when there's a problem. We need to be doing stuff like portfolio management. We need to be finding properties, and if they are selling, don't give it to Resi Sales because it's another listing. Basically sign them up. I was with Sally Lawson. I know you know her. She teaches letting agents to basically say, right, if you're selling up, we'll sell your whole portfolio, but let's not put it on the market. I've got a list of landlords. She's run some Facebook adverts. Do you want to buy portfolios off market? She sell oh, by the way, Mr. Landlord, we can sell it to you for free. Won't charge you. And then she says you sign up the landlord with a 2% buying fee and also 2 years fully managed. And they won't show you the properties until you sign the contract. Won't show you the portfolio.
Interesting. I wonder whether sorry, Chris. I was just going to say, like, I wonder if the rise of open rent, especially in recent, like the last year or so, how much has it gone up actually? What's their market share gone up in the last year? It's quite significant, I think.
Right. So it's gone from, as I said, 4 or 5% in 2019 to 22-23% today.
So I wonder whether, I mean, look, landlords have had, they've had the same things happen to them. There's so many landlords have mortgages on their properties, right? And I wonder whether they're not maybe getting the value from the lettings agents and going, I'm not making as much yield anymore. I'll manage it myself, or I'll stick it alone. See what comes through. Just doing it DIY. And I think that point you're making there, Chris, is a really good one, which is you've got to show your worth as a lettings agent right now, because it is tough for landlords. They have had extra, things put upon them. They have had mortgage increases like we have, the yields, etc. Obviously, the rental prices have gone up. This is not my area of expertise, so stop me if you think I'm rambling. But I think there's probably an element of people, the landlords, that want to keep renting their property out, but they're just trying to keep those margins and those yields as high as possible. So yeah, showing your worth, I think, is a really important thing for lettings agents at the moment.
Absolutely bang on. Right. There's Kings, Wrights, Mather Marshall, William H. Brown, Country Properties, Connells, and I will just correct myself. It wasn't 20%; it's 15 or 16%. I have to just correct myself on that one. But
on open rent,
yeah. I mean,
you said 15. You said 15% to start with, and when you made it at the beginning, and then you said 20%. Yeah. So, but right, you did say the correct stat at the beginning.
Right. There's the graph.
Yeah.
Okay. 2019, just around the 4 or 5% mark. There it is. There, 15%.
That last year.
Look at it. Look at it. It's scary as hell. Anyway, let's get back to we'll just go through the top 15. There we go. There doesn't seem to be anyone that's pulling trees up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and as I said, just there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yeah, okay. That's your lot. Let's final thoughts.
Final thoughts. We are hopeful over the next positivity, Chris. Hopeful over the next couple of months that we're going to continue to see a really, really strong positive trend. Listing your properties at the moment at the right price. Your clients do not have time to be testing the market, seeing if they can get this high inflated figure. we are going to get more stock coming onto the market, and you do not want them being stale. If they've got time pressure on them right now and they're coming to the market right now, the right thing you can be doing is listing it. And hopefully we'll see next week. Let's see how that trend is. The price difference. But fingers crossed for some positivity on that, and we're kind of seeing it contract. That would be my final thought.
Alice, thank you very much for your time today.
Welcome.
Exceptional. You will be getting an invite to come on the next show. You're always bright and bubbly, and your insight is always fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for 20EA for allowing me to use the platform. And said if you can contact them themselves, the firm is 20EA and the platform is called Insights. They do have other platforms for other things. I am a bit of a fanboy, but do not mention my name because I'm not on commission. But more importantly, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments, good and especially bad ones, or as we like to call them, constructive. We get nearly 1,000 views every month, every week on the show, and the insights we get from those that I know you get is priceless. Thank you for the kind words. And do remember, ladies and gentlemen, all the graphs that have been used in today's show are available for you to use. They should not be used on social media, because my daytime job is to create content both on a national and a local basis. So again, if you're a Hatfield agent and you want an unfair advantage to get more listings by using property data, then do give me a shout. Or anywhere in the UK. But I have to keep something back for my paying clients, so please don't use it on social media. But I've got no issue at all with you using it and taking it on your valuations to show that you know what you're talking about. And please, as I said, that's available as a resource to anyone in the UK. So thank you for your time, Alice. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week at week 26 of the UK Property Market Stats Show. Thanks very much.